Sorry to disturb you on your holiday.
Matt! What are you doing here?
Sorry. We need to do the links for the summer episode.
But I was sunbathing. Oh, all right. What's on?
Some racing.
Oh,
cars.
okay, hang on. Hi, and welcome to this month's RC Racing. And on this month's episode, we have the 112th European Championship from Montbrison in France. Is that all right?
Yeah, thanks. Are you having a nice time?
Yeah, call me when I'll do the end of the show. Well, it's that time of the weekend where we have to go and have a look around the pits here at the 112th European Championships in Montbrison in France. Fancy seeing you there, and me with a microphone in my hand. Well, we're starting the pit walk for this championship at my pit. Yes, this is my piece of kit, which is apparently going a lot better. We've got this kind of thing saying, everyone's gone, oh, how well your car's going, which I think probably means how much better it's going than they expected, which is kind of an indication of, obviously, how used they think I am. Well, if you look around, Paul, as you see, this is the vista in the pits. Some well-known people, some not so well-known people. We see Ronald there and Hoopo. So what does the LRP representative do at a race like this?
Well, I try to help all our customers and drivers in the first place, and since I have 12 scale races, things are not that difficult to manage for the drivers. I try to help Ronald on his car. So together with Daniel, I prepare Ronald's car because Ronald is not a very good 12 scale mechanic.
And the interesting thing is, now I realise I'm not in the A file, I haven't got my own mechanic. That's what I need. Ronald, can you be my mechanic?
Yeah, if you want to.
I don't think you want that.
This is the French area. This is where the locals are. There's a lot of them. Interesting, there weren't very many in Hinckley, whereas there were lots of Brits. They're all turning out and going on. Now, we always like to feature one new product at least. We're going to try and find a new product for you to look at. And oh, here's a new product. I'm going to talk to Ollie because he's had too much airtime already. This is the new version of the RC12 5L5. Well, so now you see, the idea is that things are going up and down rather than left and right. Whoever notices it looks a bit cockeyed, but considering it's second fastest overall, there's not much point moaning about it. But you know, who knows how they build these things? I don't know. Walking this way, there's Dr. Hagberg over there. Say hello, Alex. Hello, Alex. Anyway, you see, there we are. Always regulars. My favourite competitor has turned up again. Here he is. Oh, he's a bit camera shy. What's his name? Vigo. Hey, Vigo. Oh. Vigo fast, perhaps. They certainly do go fast, about 50 miles an hour, in fact. But let's now join John Hindhaugh for the first modified A final to see them in action.
Ronald Volker on pole position on the Como with the blue rear wing. In second position, Simo Anonimi. Slightly darker rear end on that one. That's the CRC machine. The third spot for Hubert Honegal. Ollie Jeffries, the first of the Brits on the Associated, in position 4. In 5 is Alexandra Hagberg. Nice colour scheme, Alexander, thank you. Nice and bright in 6th is Daniel Sieber, the German. In 7th, the white car is Mark Fisher. Andy Griffiths is in 8th on another CRC. And 9th is Marcus Mobers, and Visa Lee is in 10th position. So the pulse race rising for all of the drivers. Short shoot into the first right-hander for Pullman Ronald Volker, and there's all kinds of carnage behind, but Volker's got away with Anonimi in second place, and it's Ollie Jeffries up into third with the yellow tail on the Associated. There he is, but look at the battle for the lead, and Ronald Volker holding his own at the moment. Supremely talented, lots of confidence, great concentration. We've seen him soak up pressure before. Anonimi in second place. What can he do? He goes through the lead. Oh, that's a problem for Volker. Volker's car's all over the place. Now, does he have a radio problem, or is it more fundamental? It's terrible. He's gone down into third, and look at the car. It's falling over on the corners. There's something seriously wrong there with the poleman. He's dropping back through the field. This is disastrous, and in fact, he's pulled off there. He can't do anything about it. That looked to me something very fundamental in the chassis. Oh, goodness me. He's out of this race from qualifying on pole position. Ollie Jeffries left in second place. Simo Anonimi leading it out. As through comes the white car of Mark Fisher. And he is trying to make up a position with that. It's actually for third place, isn't it, at the moment? With Alexander Hagberg, I think it is ahead of him. As they come through the twisties. Anonimi, then, the Finn, has gone. He has made his escape. Just got a flash of the blue car there going on to the main straight. Jeffries in second. This is an unexpected bonus for Ollie Jeffries on the Associated from fourth position already into second. And what a disaster from Ronald Volker. We'll try and find out what's happened with the Yokomo driver. But I can see him on the far side from our position here. He is absolutely distraught talking to his pit crew. Still got 2 races, of course, to make it up. Provided he can get his head back together. So Anonimi now has been chased down by Ollie Jeffries. These are the leading pair. This is a good run from Jeffries. He's paced himself nicely, not tried to charge back up to the leader, and now he's beginning to apply the pressure, turn the screws. Just caught the infield markers there. These little triangular course markers have caused some consternation and not a little bit of controversy this weekend. You can see the usual saucer discs, the spots that they've got out there. They are demon and can get the cars airborne very easily. Well, the markers are not flat-sided. They are actually a little triangle, and they work like a ramp as well. You only really have to put a wheel on them, and you're flipping through the air. Fine if you're a stunt driver, no good if you're trying to qualify. And by the way, regular viewers of the programme will notice we didn't mention Juho Levonen, the Finn who we would expect to have been in this final. Well, Juho is back home in Finland, couldn't make the trip here to France because of a nasty bout of food poisoning. So get well soon, Juho, and we'll hope to see you back and competing soon. He's certainly been missed this weekend, although the other drivers taking their opportunity, of course. Every cloud, etc. As Anonimi then on the CRC is still under pressure from Jeffries. This is a very good drive by both of these particular drivers because they are right on it, and concentration levels must be through the roof at the moment. Just as difficult to lead as to follow in these situations. They have got a bit of space between themselves and the chasing pack. We've said this before at RC Racing, but remember, it's not as if you're sitting in that car, you're watching from the other side, and you have got both of them in your eye line all the time. Very easy to get distracted with what your competitor is doing and the speeds these going. And look at the way Anonimi got on the power there, going on to the main straight, and there goes Jeffries. Jeffries as well. There's the perfect example of what we were talking about. He was able to drive back onto the circuit over the Toblerone shaped barriers. Just there he gets pitched out of the circuit, but then if it stayed with that, you'd have seen him being able to drive on. A very minor error there that's cost big for the Brit, the Associated driver Ollie Jeffries. And that's left Anonimi in elegant isolation at the moment as he comes through to some lap traffic. But really, he can coast home from here. Just keep the concentration going. Really put yourself into cruise mode here, Seymour, because there's no one within sight. And he has taken a very easy victory in the end. So confirmation then, Seymour Anonimi winning it. Ollie Jeffries recovering from that roll to second. Alexander Hagberg in third. Big movers. Mark Fisher 7th to 4th. Marcus Mobers 9th to 5th. And Vesa Lee from 10th to 6th. Well, to coin a phrase, this is crucial for Ronald Volker. Must get a good score here after that problem in the first race. We're hearing it was a little bit of finger trouble from the rebuild, that all of the fastenings were done up but not absolutely tightly. The final tightening hadn't been done. Fundamental error, I'm afraid. And that car was undrivable as it just basically shook itself to pieces in the opening laps of the first race. Clearly everything being checked, rechecked and checked again for the German as Volker leads from Anonimi in second place. Anonimi really just needing to keep the German in sight for the first part of the race, already with the win under his belt. Remember, the best 2 scores are what are counted. As the rest of the field comes through, 1 or 2 flirting with disaster on the corner markers there. Volker still leading from Anonimi in second place. And Ronald Volker, well, what a career this driver has had. We're used to seeing him in the touring car ranks when he's been tremendously successful both in and outdoors. And here he has got his head in exactly the right place. Must have been so disappointing for him to qualify on pole and then have his car fail on him so fundamentally in that first race. But now, at the moment at least, he seems to have the measure of Seymour Anonimi. There are places to pass here. Not easy, but there are a couple of places where if you can get yourself in the right position, you can get up the inside and take the racing line. The technical parts of this track are very technical indeed, and getting the turn in and the braking absolutely right is key. Dropping back then, there's Ollie Jeffries with the yellow tail, and I think that's Hagberg, isn't it, behind him in the green car, who is on the X-ray. So they are battling for position. Ollie Jeffries with a second in the first run. Now, in third position there, that's Mark Fisher, I think, is it? Who's come up? No, my apologies. Hupo Honigel has come through. Now he's got a no score from the first race as well. Sorry, I thought that was an all-white car for a moment there. Just a trick of the car pointing towards us. So Honigel also needing a score here, as does Volker. So Hupo Honigel from third position on the CRC. That would have been the hint hind off if you'd looked at the grid sheet again. So the first 3 as you were. And at the moment, that's Honigel just, I think, beginning to gain a little bit on Anonimi. Now, Anonimi here doesn't want to do anything stupid because he's got a win under his belt already. And second place wouldn't be a disaster here. Clearly, it wouldn't give him the championship here and now, but it would put him in a pretty good position. However, if he gets embroiled in a scrap with Honigel, who absolutely must score big, then finishing up with nothing would not be the right result for Anonimi. So a bit of tactics coming into play here in this best 2 out of 3 results to count, remember. There, a good shot on that low camera of those controversial track markers with the angled sides, like a triangular wedge. They have been working rather like a launching pad. Have to be so precise here. And look at this. And ooh, that is Honigel absolutely dicing with disaster there. No doubt in my mind he was airborne there. No matter how good a driver you are, if you haven't got wheels on the ground, you can't control your car. And there again, another mistake by Honigel, who's just gone a little bit wide. And Ollie Jeffries has slipped through there. Gone up into, that's up to third place now. And still Volker is leading. Oh, was that Volker? That's Volker, that's the leader. Volker, now that looked like a radio problem or did he hit something? I'm not sure. That's a disaster. He's facing the wrong direction. The marshals haven't recovered him. And that has left Anonimi in the lead. And with not that much pressure behind him, I think that is the championship right there. What happened to Ronald Volker? That is quite remarkable. Just a mistake. Unbelievable. Had that race in his pocket, he'd done the hard work. And Anonimi comes through on the CRC, the Finn, with Hugo Lebanon, his countryman, at home and unable to compete. It's the championship to Seymour Anonimi. Ronald Volker, the first there, very graciously to congratulate him. And a rueful shake of the head from the German. Body language says it all. So Simo Anonimi then wins the championship with 2 victories and really looked into the second one there, but no asterisk next to the win. Hubert Honegal in second, Ollie Jeffries in third, Hagberg in fourth, and Daniel Sieber in fifth.
Back to France now for the third leg of the A finals, and with your race commentary, it's John Hindhoff.
Well, there's something you don't see very often. It's the second place man who is not taking part. Simo Anonimi leaving grid 2 empty as he's got 2 victories and already claimed the championship. Ronald Volker on pole position. Well, what a disastrous event this has been. Look at the speed. He qualified in pole position. He's led both of the races, and both times preparation issues have cost him any chance of victory. And certainly in that second heat, he was driving away, done all the hard work, and we hear it was a mesh issue. It really is RC 101, but unfortunately his mechanic, having checked that everything else was tight, forgot something rather fundamental. That was why we saw the body language so disheartened and disconsolate from the German Yokomo driver in that second heat. He's racing for pride. What we do have is a battle for second position overall, as we're just watching the white car of Mark Fisher there putting a little bit of pressure on, and the only 2 drivers who can take second in the championship would be Hubert Honegal, who got second in the last heat after a disaster in the first, and Ollie Jeffries, who's had a couple of decent results, a third and a second, so it's between those 2. At the moment, we're watching this battle just a little bit further back down the field, as we can just see 1 or 2 of the leaders disappearing out of sight. But this is a nice battle. That's Hagberg, who is just ahead of Mark Fisher in the white car, as we mentioned. Really just trying to pick up sight of the guys at the head of the field and see the relative positions of the guys at the front. And there is Ronald Volker, and that's Hubert Honegal, and that is Ollie Jeffries right behind him. And that's the battle then for second place in the championship, and Jeffries pushing very hard indeed with that yellow tail on the car, and that was accentuating the huge oversteering moment he had as he took way too much speed into the central part of that technical, this area of the circuit. Just to say, by the way, that adding to the woes of the desperation of Ronald Volker, he's disappeared in the distance here. Everything tightened up, and all bits of the Yokomo talking to each other properly at this stage, and that must only accentuate his disappointment, as I say, about not being in the mix here. He's racing for pride, and we can see now, although we're not seeing it so much on screen, we're seeing it on the timing screen, the speed that he has got here. Effectively what we're looking at here is whoever is second here to Ronald, because I can't see Ronald throwing away another race, surely, not 3 and 3, between Jeffries, who's currently in third with that yellow tail, and the blue rear wing of Hubert Honegal. Whoever is better placed of these 2, whoever takes second place from these 2, will be second in the championship. So there's something to race for here in the overall standings. Quite impressed with Jeffries, Ollie Jeffries on the Associated. He just made a mistake there, of course. There's the curse of the commentator. But he's raced very well, took his opportunity in the first heat and netted himself a second place. Third in the second heat when Honegal was second ahead of him. Honegal at the moment seems to just have had the measure of the Brit. Now back with the leader here, who's coming up to do a bit of lappery. And it's a case of what might have been. Very decisive through traffic. Ronald Volker on the Yokomo. The German driver, we've seen him in the past destroy quality fields. He's doing that now. Now, okay, Anonimi has dropped out because he's won it, and we know Juho Levonen is not here due to illness, but this is the kind of performance we expect to see from Ronald Volker, and surely the championship would still have been up for grabs had he been able to put this kind of run together in either of the first two races of this final here in France. So what ifs are the order of the day. If onlys for Ronald Volker, who wins that one and salvages a little bit of pride. Well, Hubert Honegal won the battle for second position in the championship ahead of Ollie Jeffries in third. But Simo Anonimi is the man who's won the championship with those two victories in the first two heats. Let's get down to the pit area now, where Nick has caught up with the new champion.
Simo, many congratulations, European champion, but you were surprised to win it.
Yes, thank you. It was the first race with the CRC, so I'm very happy to win it. So.
But obviously, it's not often we see a guy from second place in the grid winning two legs.
Mm-hmm. Well, Roland had very bad luck, so it led me to win. So
this is the second time you won the European Championship. Does it feel better this time?
Yes, of course. It's always good to win it. So.
Simo, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Ronald Volker, an absolutely majestic win in leg 3, but it must have left you thinking what might have been.
This is true. I am the last man. I just put full throttle, and yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed that I have two did not finishes in the two both A mains, first A mains. But yeah, that's racing. So I'm looking forward to the next races.
Nick, we need to go now.
Well, that's all we've got time for on this month's RC Racing, and indeed on this series of RC Racing. But never fear, RC fans, because the next couple of months we've got best ofs, but not best of races, best of drivers. So you'll see all our archive races of superstars like Mark Reinhardt, Lee Martin and Atsushi Hara. That's all coming up on RC Racing in the next few months. See you soon. Bye.
I didn't get the postcards yet.
I'm having a sunbathe. I'll write later.